welcome in. Surprise, we're doing it again. Ron Ross Radio Show podcast. And we're coming at you from live on Facebook and live on our YouTube feed right now, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. So I doubt very seriously if we'll see Jennifer. We might.
Right.
She's in California. One of our friends of the show lives in California, and she's had like graduations going on, and their life is busy. So many graduations going on too. It's crazy. All right, so I'm Ron. Welcome in, that dude over there, and I'm pointing to my left, your right, and that's John Yaglensky, who is my executive producer, but also my partner here on the podcast. So we're coming up on a year that we've done this. Has it been a year? Do you remember what our first one was?
That sounds about right. I could go back and look.
It was May of last year.
Oh, let me.
Oh, gosh. No, I think it was June. And here's why I think it was. No, because I announced getting the gig on Key 103. I announced getting that gig on the podcast.
Okay.
Which was and my first day there was June 1st. What are you doing?
I'm adjusting things. My background here.
Oh, okay. He's adjusting the background. You can put the Food Network on. That'd be awesome. So anyway, so I'll explain to you. By the way, and thank you so much for joining us for the video portion of this. And if you're listening to it wherever you get your podcast, again, thank you for listening to us. If you're watching it though, share with your friends and your family and let them know what's going on. And John and I, and mainly John. When I say John and I mean all John. When it comes technically,
what
we're working on getting this up on X/Twitter, so it'll be live on that platform as well. And I don't know about Instagram. I don't know how that works, but I
don't either. I've never
go live on Instagram all the time, and I do have an Instagram, by the way, which is Radio Ron Ross on Instagram. If you want to follow me on that, so.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you can stream. I know you can go live. I don't know if you can stream. By the way, for the record, checking the Book of Knowledge, it was Wednesday, May 24th, 2023.
Okay, well, there you go.
Literally.
So it's also our 1-year anniversary.
It's 3 days from now. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's close enough.
Has it been a year?
It's been a year.
It's been a hot minute, man.
Wow.
Things have changed. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and following us throughout the year. What did I have? I had Jason, our friend Jason. We went to see him play acoustic. There's Jason. What does he say? He says, thankful for YouTube notifications telling me you're live. Yes.
Well, hey.
Well, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
We faked everyone out except for Jason.
We did.
It happens.
We did. That's okay. That's all right.
Yes.
We had to do this, do some changing around because John's going to be traveling, and they scheduled at the last minute an interview for me, actually 2, but the one was going to be at our usual podcast time, which would be 11 a.m. Eastern, and for my podcast Ronversations, which you can find on all of your podcast networks. Just search for Ron Ross or Ronversations, and so I'm talking to blues guitarist Keb Mo at 11 o'clock this morning, which is also my brother, Greg, who's the blues aficionado,
right?
Handed me a handful of questions, so I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Way to go, Gregor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I have an appointment to speak to and interview Ace Frehley. Now,
yes.
Every time I've said something to somebody and told them, I'm like, oh my God, I get to talk to Ace Frehley. They're like, who's that? I'm like, well,
seriously?
You're not going to know this. Ace Frehley was the original and one of the origins, one of the founders, along with Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons and Peter Criss. He was the spaceman, Space Ace, the lead guitarist in Kiss.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I bought Kiss Alive, the live album came out in 75, but I don't think I had it until 76, 77, something like that. Friend of mine named Greg turned me on. Not my brother, but turned me on to that album. And that whole album is just a tour de force when it comes to playing live lead guitar. Ace Frehley and his Les Paul Sunburst playing through Marshall amps. You can't get a better sound, in my humble opinion. I think
amazing.
And I'm going to talk to him like the greatest wife ever. Like, what are you going to talk to him about? I'm like, I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I mean, I asked the people who arranged this, the promoters, because he's coming in concert to one of our local venues at the Hollywood Casinos at Charlestown, West Virginia. West by God, Virginia. So I asked them, well, if he doesn't want to talk about Kiss, I'm cool, because he's been doing interviews for 50 years. Okay. And I'm sure he has revealed there's nothing new he's going to come out about Kiss at all. Nothing new ever. And I even read his autobiography, and he talked about all that stuff in the autobiography. There's nothing
He's 73, new. By the way. I looked that up.
What's that?
He's 73.
He's 73. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been doing the interviews for 50 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Because
wow.
he was in his 20s.
Wow.
When 21, I guess, when Kiss
would have had to have been.
When Kiss, the debut album, came out in 1974. But so I thought, I'll just concentrate on the solo project. But then they came back to me and they said, he doesn't mind talking about Kiss, but he will definitely want you to concentrate on the new album, 10,000 Volts. And I'm like, cool, I can do that, because I have it. I have that, and I've got a couple of his solo records. And he was in a band called Frehley's Comet. That's the one he put together afterwards. And a little connection you might not know, his connection to Late Night with David Letterman, or The Late Show with David Letterman on CBS, and then later or earlier it was Late Night on NBC. Pardon me. Is that his drummer, the drummer in those bands, in the world's most dangerous band, and then later in the CBS orchestra, is Anton Fig.
Oh yeah.
South African drummer, but so Anton Fig played drums. But Anton Fig, actually, I first saw that name was on the Ace Frehley solo album from 1978, I want to say, when all four members released the solo album, and Ace Frehley's is the one that sold the most. He had a hit song off of that with Russ Ballard wrote a song called New York Groove, and
Russ Ballard, like as in Hearts.
Yes, Russ Ballard.
Wow.
Wrote New York Groove, but he wrote it for another band.
No, I'm sure
this was a cover from Ace Frehley, but it was a hit.
Seems like an unlikely pairing right there, but
that song is the one. I think that might have been the one that I was whistled for skating too fast at Skate Haven. Slow down or get off the ring. Yeah.
That's funny.
I was into it. I was like, Ace Frehley has a hit. That's fantastic. Of course, I owned all of. Anyway, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Great was like, what are you going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I think I might just go in as a conversation, and I won't have any planned questions and just chat him up, because there's just so much to cover, and I'm going to try to tamper my fanboyism, because this is a hero. It's a hero. And she said, greatest wife ever said when she met Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
Because I got to interview him. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And she met him. She said I had a choice of whether I was going to be cool and chill, like, oh yeah, that's cool, or if I would fangirl out. And she just said she decided to be cool and chill. And now she says she wished she had fangirled out. I mean, when is she ever going to meet Peter Frampton again? It was like, you were in my bedroom every night. I kissed your poster when I went to, that kind of thing. Now, I did have a Kiss poster in my bedroom, but I did not kiss it before I went to bed.
Oh, well, okay.
But I did. You know what? And I'll tell him this. The Kiss poster replaced Fonzie. I had a Fonzie.
Wow. Would you like high five the poster when you went out of the room or anything like that?
I would stare at it and just look at it, because it was I loved the mythic. And by the way, none of this is on my agenda, what I wanted to talk about.
No, of course not. By the way, a correction in the show notes here. I was confusing Marty Balin with Russ Ballard.
Oh, Marty Balin. Oh, Heart.
Yeah, the singer of
I'm like, well, did you
Jefferson
notice I just
Starship,
agreed
Jefferson
because I didn't
Airplane.
know what you were talking about, so I just went,
No,
yeah,
it's
that's
fine.
the guy.
It's fine, but it's on me. So send no notes to the PO box complaining about John.
Marty
Not knowing what he's
Ballin
doing. Right.
was the one of the lead vocalists in Jefferson
Airplane
Airplane
and
and
Jefferson
then
Starship.
Jefferson Starship, and he
Yes.
wrote a couple of their biggest hits, which was
Yes. Was Miracles?
Miracles.
Yeah, the as we
Only
called it.
you
All right,
believe.
little inside radio there.
Here we go. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
that's a
the
bathroom
long
song.
version of that. Yeah, was about 8 or 9 minutes or
Yeah, it's a
something like
bathroom
that.
song.
So
Yeah,
when you had to
yeah.
leave the studio and it was, the weekend, nobody was there to look over the board for you. There you go. Pop
Yeah,
that one
that
on.
was okay. Well, speaking of Frampton, so that'd be Frampton Comes Alive.
Right.
Would be Do You Feel Like We Do? That's 13 minutes.
Well, you wouldn't have that in light FM though.
Oh, okay. No, see, I
There
understand.
were very few light FM songs that stretched that long.
Yeah, really. Hot AC songs. Hot adult contemporary. That's the name of the format.
Right.
I can't think of any long bathroom songs.
I know that's pretty much it.
Then when we switched to oldies and I was playing, 60s and 70s, those are
Like
2.5
songs. Yeah.
2.5 minute ditties. You're like, there was no time for a cigarette.
I know. There's where you hoped that the carts. So we had these little things that look like 8 tracks. If they made, I don't know whether that helps telling people that.
What
Anyway, the carts.
It was it's called cartridge because it was a cartridge and it was about that big.
Right. And they would have
quarter-inch audio tape in it. Anyway,
right.
Go ahead.
They would have a little tone at the end called a sec tone or a sequential tone. So what would happen is one cart would play the sec tone, the light would light up, it would warn you that the song was coming to an end, and then the sec tone would fire, and then that would fire the next cart. So you could put them together to make a longer period of time, but you were counting on that sec tone to actually fire, and there were occasions where it didn't work or it was missing or so
actually I thought sec tone was stood for secondary tone.
The primary you might be right. Primary
primary tone comes at the beginning,
but
that's a low, that's a low 50 hertz thing at the beginning. When you hit recording, you hit start, the primary
knows where to stop.
So that's where it knows where to stop when it recues. It just keeps going forward. It's a continuous loop. The end is spliced to the beginning, and then it would hit that. The sec tone is your secondary tone, which you could trip. You could trip other things, other carts.
Right.
And then the tertiary tone.
Right.
There was a CEC, there's a SEC button, and then the TER button.
Yeah.
Your tertiary tone could just light up.
That would be the one that you would press near the end of the song.
Yeah,
when
10 seconds to the end.
To
10
warn
seconds
you
to
that
the
it's
end.
ending.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then sec tone.
All right. Radio history with Rod.
Why?
You know what we do? We need like a little, this moment in radio history has been brought to you by.
You know what we should do? We should do a totally different podcast that's just about radio. That's just about our time in radio.
I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry.
I've thought about it, and you would help me. I've thought about writing a memoir or an autobiography about my time
in radio. Yeah.
Because, we're coming up on, in August, it'll be 40 years.
Right.
That, since I started recording things on cart with the sec tone and the sec tone and the tertiary tone.
Yikes.
Anyway.
But
Marty Ballin is not Russ Ballard.
Correct. So, that's what I was trying to say.
What am I going to talk to Ace Frehley about? I don't know.
Correct.
I think we've determined that. I don't know. I'm going to try to make it I think you should
throw in
new album.
Throw in some fanboy with your
cool. Oh, I am gonna fanboy. Oh,
yeah, definitely. You got to.
I'm gonna fan
because you're a cool dude anyway. But I mean, you're a good interviewer.
Thank you. It's very nice. I appreciate that. You know who I think is the best interviewer? Now, of course, everybody talks about Howard Stern, what a great interviewer he is, and I've listened to his technique and how he'll take a phrase or something they said, and then he says, well, so in other words, and then he puts it in another way.
Oh, yeah, he definitely does that.
And then they either agree or disagree, or it takes them down a different road, especially if it's something that they don't want to talk about. And he'll do that. He'll go 10 minutes in the conversation, and then they might be evasive with an answer.
Yeah.
And then he'll come back 10 minutes later and he asks the same question, but in a different way.
Right.
So eventually he gets where he's going and he's disarming. But the dude that I aspire to be, trust me, is, and that I've only watched him in like the past 5 years, is a guy named Sean Evans, who does the Hot Ones videos where they eat hot wings.
Oh,
and
he's amazing. The dude is
he's the best interviewer. He's the best interviewer I've seen going, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great show, by the way. If you haven't caught it ever.
The show. So yeah, it's called Hot Ones, and then he has all these great celebrity guests, and it has snowballed throughout the years because he had, I don't know, secondary guests on it. Here's the thing about this white dude from Chicago who's probably in his 40s.
Yeah.
He knows his hip hop. He's legit. He's
right.
legit. He's had great pioneers from hip hop who want to be on his show because he knows what he's talking about, and he gets deep in the minutia. You talk about fanboy. He's got this. You can look on the on YouTube. There's these compilation videos of his guests. Like, how did you know that? Or where'd you get that question?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what I aspire to be, is something like
that. I mean, it's not just hip hop. He's got major Hollywood stars go on there, it's famous chefs. I mean, Gordon Ramsay's episode is an absolute classic.
The thing I liked was Guy Fieri. So he has Guy Fieri on.
Mr. Flavortown.
You could hear there was a little bit of Guy Fieri, because that's his real name, Ferry. He changed it.
Okay.
You could hear a little bit of that come out when he was talking about critics, where he's like, whatever, I don't, it's just noise. I don't care.
Right.
And you could tell he was a little miffed, not at Sean, but at the critics, and the way people don't give him credit and they don't let him, whatever, even though he's the king of Food Network now, he and Bobby Flay.
Right.
And, but then when it was all done, because you go through 10 wings with increasingly hot sauces, there's one called the bomb, which is the third to the last.
Yeah.
And as
that's where it like crosses a line.
All the cursing, there's no redeemable quality about it.
No.
It's just acid. It's just
heat,
battery acid. It's nuclear waste. It's, they come up with it. And Charlize Theron had
that one too.
Had the best. She's like, that was and she didn't say Richard. She goes, that's a Richard move. That wing Richard, right there, that sauce.
Right.
But Guy Fieri finishes. He goes through the whole gauntlet.
Yeah.
And as they're getting up and walking, and they show footage of him getting up and walking away, he just says, by the way, no water, no milk. No water, no milk. Just
right.
wanted to let you know. As
he didn't use any.
He's walking away. He did not drink any water. He did not drink any milk or do anything to try. He just ate and moved and had a conversation. There was no sweat. He wasn't turning red face or anything.
Crazy.
So, which, a lot of respect. Anyway, that's what I want to interview is Sean Evans. I don't know. I'll come up with something for Ace Frehley. So it's raining in my dining room again. And
wait, what?
Yeah, it's raining.
In your dining room
again. So greatest wife ever was taking a shower. We live in a 3-story townhouse. We have a basement, then the main living level, which has the kitchen, dining room, living room, and then above are the 3 bedrooms. 2, I'm in one of them, which is the daughter Younger's bedroom, and then over there is daughter the elder's bedroom, and then the master suite goes across the front of the house. 2 bathrooms. Greatest wife ever's taking a shower. She goes downstairs. It has rained in our dining room again, which is directly underneath where the shower is.
All right.
I've been hearing noise in the bathroom that, basically I think it's probably the grout. The house is settled. It was built in 1975.
Yeah.
So anyway, we don't have a lot of money to call somebody to repair this.
Right.
So we've got to do it ourselves.
Okay.
And the greatest wife ever is the caulk queen. She's got it down to a science, and so she's removed all the stuff, and I think we're going to regrout the tile too first before we just fill it with caulk and
okay,
because the tub is settling. It's at the front of it's a good.
so you think it's coming out of the outside or the edges and then going and dripping down and around.
Yeah.
So you have a tub first.
But we don't know how wet the beams are inside. So now I've got to cut a hole in the drywall in the ceiling. Okay. Or the
you got to kind of stick your head up there.
Just see what's going on, which is right next to an electrical box where my lighting fixture is. It's.
Yeah, but you know what? I like that you're doing it the right way there. Okay, because when you said the whole thing about caulk, I was like, okay, we're just going down the caulk zone. But you actually are cutting up from the underside to look and see where the.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, no, I know, but a lot of people wouldn't do that. So kudos.
Also, I think I'm gonna put a fan and just blow a fan on it for 17 days or whatever. To try to dry the wood out.
Well, you definitely want to do that
because needless to say, we haven't used that shower.
Yeah,
and so we have to use the shower in the other bathroom,
right?
Which is fine. That's no big deal. But still, it's like one of those things where you just
home ownership, man. I was cursing it over the weekend.
I mean, it's no look. I love this house. It's the dream house. This is the one that the greatest wife ever and her mom had an eye on, and it was the best house in this development.
I'm glad I was able to help you with that.
And that's right. Yeah, John was worked at a realty
where I feel guilty again
and hooked us up. No, not at all. What are you talking?
Yeah,
I told the greatest wife ever. It was funny. I was standing in the kitchen, and I do this occasionally. I was because we've owned the house. It'll be 28 years.
Yeah,
in May. We've actually had it most of the existence of the house. We've owned it the longest.
Right.
Over half the age of the house. And and I told her, I was standing in the kitchen and I was leaning up against the counter and looking at the front. We have it was supposed to be a bay window, but what happened was the previous owner, and completely not up to code, he did a bump out where he put an extra, I want to say 2 feet in the front. So now it's a big eat-in kitchen.
Got it.
Before, you could have a little tiny little, but it was a bay window there. And so, and we're the only house that has that. Only house. And, there's an electric box in the front yard. It's kind of far away when the electric company came because there was a problem, whatever. And they're looking at the box and looking at the house. I look at the box and looking at the house. I went, that's not code. And we're like, it's not? Really?
Because it was there since we moved in.
We bought it. And the home inspector didn't say anything about it. And anyway, when we bought the house, so this was, and I stood there at an open house. It was an open house.
Right.
When we came to look at it, we had dropped daughter, the elder, off at cheerleading, and it was a fall day. It was a crisp fall day. It was beautiful. I think it might've been September, October. And I remember standing in that kitchen looking at the display, and I just remember saying to the after we had toured the house, taking a look at the whole house, and I said to the realtor, I said, okay, sold. It's crazy. Whoever's like, you don't say that, by the way. And I'm like,
that's not.
Look,
I would have advised against that.
I don't know. I've never bought a house before. I wanted it. That's like sold. What do I have to do? I'm selling him now. What do I have to do to put me in this house? That kind of. They weren't the listing agent. They were just babysitting.
Oh.
So and then Maryland had just passed the law where you have to have a representing real estate agent and a seller. So
the buyer broker.
The buyer broker who can represent my best interests.
Mm-hmm.
It was Joey.
Joe Carnucci.
Loved him. He was great. So
I miss that guy.
Anyway. So we've had this house since 1996, Christmas, right before Christmas, 1996.
Yeah.
And so gradually we've replaced all of the appliances. We've replaced the hot water heater. We've replaced the washer dryer, which was the original, which we had to convey for the house. We've replaced the sliding glass door on the side, the sliding glass door in the back. The front door has been replaced.
Yeah.
Just the whole deck has been redone. and then it was
I mean,
refurbished. I mean, it's a
this
house.
happens
It's what
over the
happens.
course of
Yeah,
20,
exactly.
30 years. Yeah. Mhm.
We've painted so many rooms, so many different colors, and so
Yeah.
on. And so yeah, this is just another thing now. And then, dun dun dun,
Duh.
and this happened yesterday.
Oh, no.
So we have these. When we first moved in here, we had juniper bushes that were
Oh, yeah. Oh,
it
good.
was a low kind of like it was
Yep.
about
Yep.
maybe a foot high
Mhm, mhm.
because the previous owner had replaced the front lawn. There was a dogwood tree in the front, and then he had low juniper bushes on either side of the walkway, and then these globe arborvitaes in the front, these big globes. There was a dogwood in front of the electric box. It had a little
Right.
statue sitting on the electric box, so it was just kind of hide everything. And then these two giant, well, they weren't that big actually; they were maybe 6 feet, on the side.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that was in '96.
Yeah.
Well, almost 30 years later, they're
Huge.
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 And they're also and they had a snake in it. So this is not the first time we've seen snakes in the front yard because of all
Snakes.
of these huge bushes
Yeah.
that I get to trim. If I get up on a ladder that takes me, and this is where my procrastination comes in because I procrastinate like crazy. And then, I mean, I've waited 2 years to do
Mhm.
stuff. And then when I finally do it, it took me a good 45 minutes of solid work without taking a break. That's it.
To take out all that
To
stuff.
do a project or whatever it is. So to trim these bushes, it was just too much.
Right.
And and then we know that there's a snake in it because the greatest wife ever saw it as she was parked in front of our house and she saw it come out of the bush.
They
It was a
do
nice day.
exist.
She's in the car. She's talking to daughter the elder and sees the snake come out. She's like, ah! So she's like, that's it. And I had talked about, taking all of the bushes out. So
Okay.
daughter the elder, God love her, her husband, who was a firefighter, but he had been home with a sprained ankle, just calls yesterday
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and says, yeah, hey, my boy, we're coming over and we're gonna rip out the bushes. So
Okay.
I'm like, what? Because then I had to go to work. So I missed it. I missed like 90% of it. I'm at work. And the greatest wife ever is sending me video. But apparently this is a big thing. People in the neighborhood are looking because we were the only ones that had this big overgrown vegetation in the front yard.
Yep.
And we had this big dump truck from Huffer, but because they were the
Right.
ones that had the power. This is
Yeah.
where Jordan works, Huffer Trucking, and they had the putting the chains around because my son-in-law says I'm not doing that.
So
I've seen too many
was not by
videos.
hand. So this was
Well,
pulling them
no,
out.
you had to you had to chop everything down
Well,
first
right. Yeah.
to get
But to pull
to
the
the
roots.
stump, but then trying to pull the roots.
Yeah.
And we had called Miss Utility, and they came out, and we had the electric company, the water company, cable company. They all just spray
Look at
painted in
you.
different colors
That's
where all
nice.
of the
Yeah.
where all of the stuff was, so we weren't digging or
It's the
ripping up.
law.
I say we. I say we. I didn't do it. I
Right.
wasn't there. I was
Right.
telling the greatest wave ever this morning. I mean, it was FOMO. I missed
Okay.
it. I missed it. I was
Aw.
at work, which is fine. I love my job, but I missed it. This was a major transformation to my home. This is the
Yes.
one that we bought. This is we built. We raised a family in this, and now we haven't. We're not moving, but this is a major transformation, and it's
Okay.
just it's
So what are you going to do? What's the plan? What's the
grass.
out front? Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to grow lawn. I mean, I'm good at growing.
You're growing
grass.
along?
I know how
You're
to.
not getting the sod?
No. I'll grow.
You see, up in the Northeast, you can actually grow yards. Here you
Oh
can.
yeah, well your soil is you have to put topsoil down, and then you've got to put sod down.
Put
Right.
sod. You cannot
Yeah.
seed down here and expect a decent yard to grow. It just won't happen.
Well, it's weird in our area too, because my dad. See, when I was a kid, in living in the suburbs outside Richmond, Virginia, Mechanicsville, we had the most perfect carpet of Kentucky 31 fescue grass. And I know this because I used to have to spread the seed, my brother and I.
Yes.
Spread the seed.
Way to go,
Then
Dad.
we had to lay down the fertilizer, then lime. We would lime the yard. We sat there with poison, malathion. It's not even on the market anymore.
Poison?
Poison. Yeah. Poison, a pesticide.
Poison?
And you poison?
Tasty fish.
Tasty fish. And then, it would sit in this little, I don't even know, jar, plastic jar. It said ortho, malathion. I remember. You hooked your garden hose up to it, and if you put your thumb on it, then it would suck up the poison and mix it with the water and spray it. If you took your thumb off, then it was just water.
Okay.
And if you were thirsty,
no,
I didn't. I knew it was full. It was full of poison.
Tastes like poison.
Tastes like poison. So I mean, but trust me, that was and we had a grass catcher on the side of the push mower, and my brother was allowed to do the front yard. Whatever. That was the showpiece, and I did the backyard.
Okay.
It was bigger. It was bigger in area.
Sure.
Whatever, Dad. So. And then I took a lot of pride in my yard here. Now we have a yard guy that comes in and because it's just you can't get more time. You can always make more money. So I'll just pay the dude to go out and mow the yard.
Mowing my yard. Honestly.
I don't have a lot of time.
I don't either. But
I used to love it. I would go out and put patterns.
I do that
diagonally and in the back. And I was out there spraying fertilizer and the poison and all that stuff too. And I had weeds and I would go out and weed and sat there with my string trimmer. I mean, everything was. I mean, it was a perfectly nice manicured lawn, and I gave up. Gosh, well, probably after my whole heart thing, 2015, I just kind of stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Jim posted on Facebook, "I'm thrilled you guys are on live for commute home from my overnight job, just like the old days. Jim, how you doing, brother? Good to talk to you, man. That's excellent. Jim. I'm glad you get to listen to us live on the commute."
And coincidentally, speaking of yards,
yes,
Jim, the other Jim, was out mowing the grass.
I'm out cutting the grass. Nice.
Well, listen,
there you go.
Putting stripes in his yard.
Right.
I
love and this is a sidebar. That's one of my favorite videos to watch now. Is there a series of videos where these landscaping companies will go over to overgrown yards and they knock on the door, and sometimes it's an abandoned home and all that stuff. Right. And then they speed it up, but you watch them with the edger and then they trim and then they go with the string trimmer. And then they always have these big stand-up 0-point turn radius mowers. And then there's another guy that I'm following on Instagram that puts in the patterns, and you watch them put in the pattern in,
I like watching the homeowners because there are a few of them that are like that do the whole thing like it's a golf course.
Yeah.
And like spreading the sand and leveling the yard, and then, the real low to the ground kind of things that they use out on the greens.
Right. Yes.
Oh, I wish I could do that on my yard.
So all of the bushes and they didn't finish it. So actually, my son-in-law took the day off today from work in order to finish. And he's going to come back over and finish pulling things out and trying to get the roots out, because they're using this dump truck to chain up the stump and pull them out. I've got video of all that stuff, but still. And
I need to see how big they are. Like when they pull, like what the root ball looks like. I mean, for being there as long as they were, I'm curious.
It's like that.
Okay, well, that's not that
They're
bad.
like that. They're like that.
I've dug those kind of.
There's a lot of ripping, so a lot of roots are still stuck. I mean, that the tendrils.
Yeah,
you go, college word. Because reach out a little bit further. The roots go a lot further, but then they're ripping them. But they're getting the most of it up.
If you get most of it up, you're fine, and then you.
So I'm gonna get out there and rake and clean and pull all the stones up and all that stuff, and then I'll go seed and fertilize it, and then I'll probably cover it with hay because the birds will come and try to eat it.
Right. Are you doing like any bushes or anything, any plantings or at all?
Not
Or is
right
it
now.
okay?
Nope, I'm just gonna
Just
get
like,
the yard.
I'm gonna
I
do
talked to the
grass.
greatest wife ever. I said I wanted to put another dogwood in our front because we had a dogwood tree and then it
Right.
died and we finally got it taken down. But it was a great Halloween tree. It was a dead tree.
Hey, scary. Looked creepy, like it was gonna attack you.
And because they had planted dogwoods all along in the front yard of everybody's
Right.
house.
Right.
And my neighbor Tyler, his dogwood looked like it was gone. He's like, I
Right.
don't know, I think I have to bring it. And then of course it bloomed this year. We're like,
Okay.
wow. And then there were white petals everywhere. So greatest wife ever, I want to do a dogwood and she wants to do we might do something different because everybody else has a dogwood. And we might
But then you ruin the continuity.
I would like to put in another. I don't care.
Come on, be the suburban conformist. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday
here in status
Land. Rows of houses that are
all
the same.
So this
that was my reference.
I got it. The monkey.
Okay, I know you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Which, by the way,
that one line.
For the monkeys being, again, sidebar, shocker.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Monkeys.
So being the pre-Fab Four that they were, and they put together this band of actors who were also musicians and singers.
Right.
And they put them together, but it was Tommy Boyce and Hart who
Hart,
like the big hits.
Mm-hmm.
Daydream Believer. It was Neil Diamond wrote
right.
I'm a Believer.
Yes. Absolutely.
But Last Train to Clarksville and Pleasant Valley Sunday are a lot deeper than you think. Big hits for the Monkees.
Yeah.
But listen to the lyrics. Last Train to Clarksville, I think, and this could just be an urban legend, is about somebody leaving to go to the Vietnam War. It could be an urban legend. I don't know. I have to look it up. But it's the last train to Clarksville, and I'll meet you at the station. Be there by 4:30 or whatever.
My reservation.
Could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about that. I'm admitting it right now. It's totally hearsay.
No.
She's here. Jennifer. I spoke about her. Yes, we are here. We are at 6:38 a.m.
6:38 in the morning, 38 minutes past 6. That would be 22 in front of 10 o'clock.
It's the double time. You do that in the morning. Anyway, Jennifer, our friend in California, she's joined us, and she posted up a comment that says, "Good morning. Didn't realize you were on super early. LOL. That's because I didn't announce it. Sorry. Surprise." That was me. I was putting this all together last night, and I got and I told John, and I got booked to do an interview at 11. And I'm like, I'm piecing this all together, and whatever. It's a whole thing. So we're here. Yay! Live person.
Surprise.
So the Monkees are a lot deeper, especially Pleasant Valley Sunday, which is quite a little bit more of an indictment of the suburbia. And conformity.
It really is. And conformity.
And of course, this is the height of the flower power and all of that stuff with the Monkees, and which I loved that show.
I did too.
And I thought it was
fantastic. Beatles,
very funny.
Monkees.
Well, they were supposed to be. They were the American Beatles,
right?
And very famously, Jimi Hendrix opened for the Monkees.
I know.
Tour. And
so crazy.
I don't know if he got booed off the stage, but people didn't realize what they were witnessing before the Monkees. So you've got a bunch of these the girls in the audience, and then purple haze up through my brain. They're like, what is this
stuff? Yeah.
I don't know if he played Purple Haze before, but I'm just saying Jimi Hendrix was one of the opening acts for the Monkees on tour. Jennifer posted, not sure what we were talking about, but I see Mickey Dolenz perform last year. Nice. Yeah. Very good. I think is he the last monkey standing? I think so.
I know.
I think he is. Yeah, I think the rest of them have gone on before us.
Yeah, I think so.
Peter Tork, Mike Nesmith, and Davy Jones. So I think they've all gone on. Mickey Dolenz, who, by the way, was the drummer in the band, and of course, me being a drummer, he was my favorite. So,
He was the smart aleck and kind of the funny guy, really. I mean, he brought the humor. I liked him too.
So, where are you going this weekend? You're traveling, right?
Actually, tomorrow,
Yeah.
heading to Seattle. I will
Seattle?
be, yeah, we're
Okay.
doing a brew pub social
But you're coming back and you're back home for Memorial
I'm
Day
here
weekend.
next week, yeah, and
Well, you're back
then
home for Memorial Day weekend.
yes, and I'm here for
What are you
next
doing for
Tuesdays.
Memorial Day weekend?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Chilling with my wife because I'm about to head on a 9-day trip to Tokyo next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, we'll be spending our time together, maybe hit the beach, take the
Nice.
golf cart
Okay.
down there, maybe the
Okay.
dog, just chill, get some good food, try not
Nice.
to get too fat ahead of my
Whatever.
trip to what do you mean,
Whatever.
whatever?
I
Dude, I
mean,
am like 10
you've got
pounds over.
you're what?
10 pounds over, easy, where I should
I'm
be.
finally trending down. Greatest
Oh,
wife
yeah?
ever made this. Okay.
All right.
I told you about the
Sidebar.
I told you about the
Squirrel.
two ingredient
Squirrel.
bread, right?
The what?
The 2 ingredient bread with the
Yes,
Greek
you did.
yogurt
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
self-rising
yeah.
flour.
Yeah.
And so she says, "You know what? I'm gonna try to make pasta out of this, noodles." I said, "Yeah, just don't put the rising agent in it, and you'll just make a dough." And
Correct.
so she did that yesterday.
Okay.
And in the midst of all of the ripping the bushes, oh my God, it's amazing. So she did that. And she made this, she's just making up recipes and chicken
Yeah.
white meat chicken. Anyway, so I'm trending down, and because of
Good.
the greatest wife ever's efforts with what she makes, and I've had pasta, and still, I mean, I'm still losing weight. It's great.
I'm going to make
I'm
July
very excited about it.
the Johnny Y diet month.
Which one? Which month?
July.
July.
Because I have too much travel in June. It's not realistic that I'm going to probably lose weight in the next 30 days.
You got to eat all the things in Japan, dude.
Well, that's what I mean.
I'm telling you.
So
you like sushi?
I don't. Yeah, I just.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be great.
I've heard the 7-Elevens are amazing. No, I'm not even kidding.
No, I understand. I get it.
On the next level. Don't even think US 7-Eleven. The prepared food in there is amazing. So
I'm just saying, Japan. I'm jealous. I'm completely jealous.
What is zoodles?
Zoodles? It's zucchini.
Zucchini
Noodles. You take a zucchini.
Zoodles?
Yes. Zucchini, and then you slice it or you ribbon it, and you make it the consistency of like noodles. And you put pasta sauce on it and all that stuff, and it's a vegetable. It's fantastic. There's I
love zucchini. Actually, one of my favorite things during the summer would be my mom would grow zucchini in the garden. We'd have way too much of it, and then she would slice it up. I mean, you know that, right? It just kept coming.
And you're giving it away, trying to go to the neighbors. And here,
I had no idea.
My mom wants you to have this zucchini.
Yeah, planted way too many zucchini plant, apparently. But would slice it up into like coin size kind of things. Chop.
Sure.
Put some onion in there. Some red sauce in there.
Yeah.
Let it cook up, let it simmer, just a little Parmesan on top. Oh,
I know. Put some garlic. You got to put some garlic in there.
Garlic too.
Garlic and basil.
My mom would never disclose.
Shipping on some basil and sprinkle that on top.
Yeah, she would all the Italian stuff. Great
all the Italian seasonings.
Yep.
And that's funny you said that. Too much zucchini. Our friends, and I love him. He's a brother to me.
Yeah.
George and his wife Trish, and they plant tomatoes.
I love garden
tomatoes. Always have way too many tomatoes and peppers.
Time to make sauce. Time to make tomato juice.
Sauce. Right, exactly. We go over to their house. They're like, "Here, take some tomatoes." I'm like a half a dozen tomatoes. I'm like, God, okay, and I love tomatoes. I just eat it like an apple.
My grandmother, God rest her soul, used to make tomato juice. Like fresh tomato juice.
Oh my goodness.
Like I wish I could go back and get that recipe. It was one of those, it was a little bit chunky, which was kind of strange, but it tasted so good.
Oh. Well, what do you surmise was in it? You got to reverse engineer it. What do you think was in it?
I don't know.
You got to try it.
Whether there were any recipe books that were
Herbs
handed
and
down.
spices. Yeah, it's probably, I guarantee you, it's probably like Greatest Wife Ever's grandmother. It's all in her head. She tried to make Greatest Wife Ever's Mimi.
Yeah.
Tried to make a box cake. So it's, the cake that's the mix, it's in the box. It's already got stuff in it. All you got to do is add egg and oil or whatever.
Yep.
And she's doing that with her 2 granddaughters. So it'd be Greatest Wife Ever and Greatest Wife Ever's older sister, I think, as the story goes. I could get the details wrong. But anyway, she's trying to make a box cake.
Yeah.
And for somebody's birthday. And it's just like she's whipping and, and trying to follow directions. And finally, she says the only time she heard her grandmother cuss. And she said, blam. And she threw it down and she pulled out the flour and sugar and she just went. And in like 20 seconds, she had cake batter from scratch.
Right.
None of it's written down. She's not measuring. It's a pinch. No, pull out, whatever. And then, boom, chocolate cake. Done.
Nice.
Could not do the box cake. Could not figure it out. Now, on the other side of that, my grandmother on my mom's side, she grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
But then, like years and years, well, obviously years later, I'm talking to her. I'm a teenager, I think, talking to my grandmother. And I said, look, you have seen the development of radio. You've seen the development of television, motion pictures, television, talkies, all of those things. Man on the moon, all of those things, all these great technological advancements. What is the one invention that you think was transforming? Now, farm girl, frozen vegetables.
Right.
She didn't have to pick it. She didn't have to. Now, she still would boil it into oblivion because she thought it was raw. But basically, they were frozen vegetables. You just had to, thaw them out, cook them on just a little bit, and some water, drain the water, and put some butter in there. And frozen vegetables. That's what my grandmother said.
That's what she said was the amazing,
transformative, invention in her life. Made her life so much easier. She didn't go out and pick it. She didn't have to go to market again. She went to the supermarket, grabbed bags of Bird's Eye, and that's it. She was done.
We take that for granted.
Granted. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Pull out frozen vegetables, throw them in the microwave, and that's, a snack. I'll have a snack of, lima beans and peas and carrots and, succotash. Although I hate lima beans, but I'll eat them anyway. God,
I hated that as a kid. Succotash with the lima beans,
but I will eat them anyway.
I like lima beans made as baked beans.
Lima beans and baked beans.
Use the lima beans to make like the baked beans with the sauce and the bacon and the whole. Like, I'm good with it there. Any other time, you can have your lima bean. I'm out.
And I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of beans in the chili. Beans, the kidney beans.
Really?
No. It's meat, period.
No.
Yes. Nope. That is correct. Is that Texas chili, I think?
It might be.
Texas, they don't put beans in the chili, or do they? I don't know.
I got to tell you, chili was the savior when I was going through my radioactive iodine treatment when I had thyroid cancer. Making veggie chili, and I would just throw in all different kinds of stuff. And
veggie chili,
spice it up, and
that's great.
I had the zombie apocalypse hot sauce. Literally, literally, I think it was 2 or 3 drops in a bowl this big. Almost made it too hot.
That's funny. Well, I asked you what you were doing this weekend. We are camping.
Yeah. You love the camping.
We love to camp. We set up a camp. Although one of our friends in the camping group, it's a bunch of us, and we're all going to a Maryland State Park, and we go back to it every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Jim just posted, Texas chili. Yes, son called them cowboy beans. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So I guess Texas chili has kidney beans in it.
Yeah.
So we're camping and we're going to the same place we go all the time. And right now in the great state of Maryland, I love this, the free state. So the old line state, you have, it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Going up to 88 today.
88.
lots of sunshine,
Amazing.
all of this wonderfulness. Yesterday it was nice and
Wonderfulness.
warm in the mid
Yeah.
80s. Tomorrow it's going to be in the 80s again. Thursday, we're leaving Thursday. We're going camping
And
on
it's gonna
Thursday.
rain.
And mostly,
Yeah, of course,
mostly
because that's what
cloudy.
Maryland does.
Yeah. And then Friday,
It's
cloudy, showers, occasional thunderstorms with high winds.
That's kind of its MO
When you're in
this
a
time of
tent,
year.
it's
Yeah.
not when
Yeah,
you're in a
no. You're intense?
tent. Yes.
This is why I don't
I don't
camp.
have campers.
Nope.
We don't have any
Nope,
campers.
I'm
We can't
done.
afford campers. But the meme that I saw, a friend of ours in our group sent that said, camping is the only time that you work twice as hard and prepare all the food
Mhm.
more than you ever did in your own home.
It's
It's
true.
all because you are, we're creating a camp. And I asked Greatest Wife Ever because we have the camp kitchen,
Yeah.
and we now have we have this queen size inflatable bed.
Okay.
And she's made a chandelier that we hang in the middle. I mean, it's
How big
glamping.
is this tent?
Well, it's actually smaller than the other one. I insisted on using this one because it's up in 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's up in 2 minutes, and it's so easy for
But,
me.
like,
The other one, we used to have a cottage. It was a pretty big. It was
I'm just picturing now with the
it was
chandelier and the
it
whole
was
9 yards.
15. Well, it's a little more cramped. She doesn't
Okay.
like that one. She likes the big camp cottage that we had.
Yeah, I could glamp. I'm not camping. I could glamp, but I am not camping.
The problem is it's not a problem. Is all the work that goes into setting it all up. I mean, you're setting it up, and I asked her. I said, "What's the appeal? We're working hard putting this all together." And she said that it's you're playing house. It's like playing house when you're a kid.
Is it?
And you set it up, and it's so very true. But I have, it's funny. I have, I use a CPAP to sleep, but we're not on an electric site.
So what, do you got to bring a battery or something?
So I don't know. You know what I did? We found this little thing, and really all it does is it blows. It's got two little fans, and it blows air up into your nose. And I use this to sleep.
What?
It works.
Is that battery powered?
Yeah, this one you have to charge it. So you have to recharge that.
Does it, is that approved? I mean, it looks a little shady there.
I don't know. Well, we got it.
Where did you find that on, like, Temu or whatever?
Yeah, online.
Whatever. I'm
sure
Chinese site that you go and
it's not really a reputable company. I'm sure it's not. It's not. But I love it. It works. It works just fine.
Wow,
works just fine.
Okay.
So
as long as you can sleep, that's good.
We're running out of time, but I do want to stress.
Yeah.
That even though it's Memorial Day weekend and unofficial start of the summer and the pools open up and blah blah blah, and everybody's going away, it's a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
We don't lose sight of the real reason why it's Memorial Day weekend. I remember watching Saving Private Ryan, and the first 15-20 minutes is the storming of the beach in Normandy, and then later on, somebody said, or I was reading something about the movie, and you had a lot of soldiers or World War II vets who watched. We go, yeah, that's exactly it. That's what it was like. But instead of it being over in 20 minutes and you moving on with the plot of the movie, it was hours and hours.
Yeah, that scene is brutal.
And it was an invasion of, I think the word is attrition, which meant they were just going to flood the beach. And it was you can't kill them all. The Germans just weren't going to have enough ammunition. You're not going to be able to kill them all.
You can't get us all. So some are going to get through, but.
And it was, I don't know if that's a fact, but still, that transformed me forever.
Yeah.
In my approach to Memorial Day. I'm not going to go to a car sale. I'm not going to go to a mattress place to go get the Memorial Day savings. And I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And so take a minute, this weekend. Doesn't have to be on Memorial Day, but that would be a great day and I'm not getting on my soapbox. I'm just give yourself 30 seconds to remember the people, men and women, who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
In the defense of this country. And a lot of people, they bandy about the words like, fighting for freedom and so on and so forth. You know what? They were told to go here and fight by our federal government that we're in charge of and our commander in chief. And they've gone and they followed orders and then they died. So let's take a second to realize what it's all about when we go up on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, do we want to do a question? Do we have time for a question of the day? Do you want to?
Yeah, we do.
And
by the way, put your flag out if you would on Memorial Day.
Oh, we bought a really nice American flag.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to redo. I mean, it's not printed on like nylon thing. It's
Johnny Patriotic. Yeah, like an authentic stitch
sewn on.
Yeah, those are the good ones.
Stripes. Yeah. We bought a really nice American flag.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah. We have that. I told you, didn't I tell you last week? When you're watching cable, if you put it on pause and then all of a sudden they just start putting up pictures from across, and there's one from Annapolis, Maryland. Yeah. And in Annapolis, Maryland, it's this beautiful, quaint street in Annapolis, Maryland. But right there's Maryland flag, baby. We're like one of the few states that flies. I've got a Maryland flag. I've got a Middletown flag.
I've got a South Carolina flag.
Do you?
I actually collect a lot of historical flags. Now, a lot of them are the cheap nylon ones, but I'll just occasionally throw them out there, and I do that kind of thing. But I did buy a really good, I think it was Valley Forge Flag Company, that it's, got the embroidered stars, the hand stitched. They just hold up better, honestly. Don't buy the cheap one. Actually, our golf club that I was on a board of directors for, which now I'm not a member of, had kind of a lousy looking flag out front that was kind of getting tattered and torn. So guess who just bought one for them? I was like, you know what? You need a better flag.
There you go.
I'm Johnny Flag Boy. It's okay.
Nice. Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, there are a couple of memorials around here in Middletown too and they put up the banners that are up on the street for the for soldiers from the Middletown area, Middletown Valley, who died during service, for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And I see that all the time. It's like, don't mistake Veterans Day for Memorial Day.
That's true as well. Please. Yeah. So, all right, let's get to the QOD.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. All right.
We're running out of time.
We are running out of time. It is time. We get great amount of working, fire off the synapses, engage for low form new neural networks, utilize the cerebrum. As Pooh says, it's time to think. Dang, it's the question of the day, the QOD. Are you ready? It was for Pride Not Prize. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go.
I'm ready.
Today's question of the day. What is the most popular grilling holiday in the U.S.?
Well, that was quick.
Coming up on, it's a very simple question. Coming up on Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Wink, wink. What is the most popular grilling holiday in the United States? All right. Put your answers in the comment section. Good luck.
I missed that last week.
I know.
When we were taping, not having the Jeopardy theme. Oh, look at everybody answering.
I'm so excited. to be talking to Ace Frehley a little bit later on today.
I know
that my mind is just wandering. I'm devoted a part of this podcast. I didn't mean to, and I apologize.
No,
really
that's fine.
Get into a little bit more of Memorial Day, but
it's kind of good to share your excitement. Okay, so we have
answers. All right, here's the question of the day one more time. What's the most popular grilling holiday in the U.S.? Most popular grilling holiday in the U.S. All right, let's go to our first answer, and our first answer is from Jim, who said 4th of July. That's correct. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, really?
Threw a little red herring at you, trying to lead you down the primrose path.
Yeah.
Memorial Day. Memorial Day.
Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not. You're not dumb. You guys got it.
My ding can't recycle quick.
There's so many dings. There's Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Michelle does my hair. Zags at 4th of July. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Jam with the woo. You get Pride Nut Prize. You get Holiday Pride Nut Prize. Carry that around with you.
That's an extended.
All 3-day holiday week. Well, actually, all week.
Right.
We'll meet you back here next week for another question of the day. All right. I think we're a little over time, so we got to roll. You gotta thrill my soul. Well, all right.
Anyway,
so much going on.
Yeah.
So I have less than an hour now to prepare for Kev Mo. I'm talking to Kev Mo. Oh, so find my other podcast, Ronversations, which you can find everywhere you get your podcasts. It's on Spotify and it's on all the places. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching this. Oh, Michelle's waving. Hi, Michelle.
Maybe bye at this point.
Oh, she's waving bye. Yeah, because she's got to go.
The end of the show.
We gotta go. I gotta go, everybody. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast and watching us live on our video streaming. Next week, I think we're going to work on trying to get it together for my X account, my Twitter account.
Yes,
which is Radio Ron
there too.
Is it Radio? Is it Radio Ron Ross Radio?
I don't know.
It's Ron Ross Radio. I think. Which one is it? It's the opposite of what this is on Facebook.
Why did you do that?
Because I already had. I don't know.
All right.
Oh, because Ron Ross Radio went into Ron Ross Radio Show podcast. So that's why I did that for this Facebook page. But it's Ron Ross Radio. It's Radio Ron Ross, I think, on Twitter.
Ron doesn't know.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
I'll look it up. But that's next week.
That's
next week. All right. Please give John well wishes and safe travels. He's flying out to Seattle tomorrow.
Yep.
And doing all the things. So please wish him safe travels and your plane's on time and all of the things. And eat Seattle food. Oh, you need to go to the original Starbucks and get a cup of coffee. Just to
I will
say you did
do that. I think I've done that before, but
you have. Oh.
Yeah, we're having a social at it's called Pho place.
Spelled
FOPHO.
The pho, like the soup.
Yeah,
pho, the stew. Yeah, pho.
It's a brew pub that specializes in pho.
And the pho, okay.
Instead of pho.
It's not pho.
Right.
I don't think it's pho.
No, it's not.
But I love it.
I got corrected.
Is it?
So delicious.
So delicious.
Oh, delicious.
It is very good. And
that's where I'll be. Near the ballpark at Venison Pho. Venison, something like that.
Venetian?
No. near the stadium area.
Okay, great.
So
I'll go out and see John. He's doing a personal appearance.
Yeah.
He's got some freebies, giveaways.
Yeah, hit me up.
Say hi to John.
Got a couple.
He's got baseball caps and T-shirts that he's going to be giving away.
Got a few CDs and
gift certificates for $5 off if you go.
Some coupons. Oh man, back in the day.
Yeah. No. Anyway, all right. Listen. Yeah. So safe travels to John, and have yourself a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, whatever you're doing. And enjoy. And I didn't mean to ram on your parade. If you're going to the beach, go to the beach. Going to the pool, go to the pool, obviously. And it is the unofficial start of the summer, and I'm all about that. But again, let's just remember what it's all about for like 30 seconds or whatever, and try to remember that. Okay, so I'm getting off my soapbox. Listen, please take care of yourselves and each other. Please be safe. Ron Ross, John Yaglinski, love you, mean it.